listen, right? Jasmine.
She knew, let me tell you what happened. She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, Yandy need to stay in her place because he sit at the bar. He was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at the bar?
I didn't know it was a bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mandeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
Yeah. All right, let's go enjoy the...
That's my household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
No, I'm on it. I ain't...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine?
Atlanta's lights shone brilliantly that night, but the drama taking place at a fancy Midtown restaurant captured everyone's interest more than the beautiful city skyline. Atlanta's love and hip-hop. A bombshell that would send shockwaves through the entire room was about to be revealed. But emotions were already seething beneath the surface when the team assembled for what was intended to be a quiet meal. Known for his troubled past and complex romantic life, Kirk Frost sat at the table with his thoughts racing and his eyes darting about the room, taking in the individuals there. Yandy, his wife Rashida, and the rest of the team were. Kirk was not in the mood for peace tonight. He had been biting his tongue for far too long, watching lies and secrets whirl about him, and now he was ready to finally reveal the truth, even though he appeared blissfully unconscious of what was about to happen. Kirk had been hearing gossip about Mandeecees and Jasmine, two notoriously dramatic figures from the love and hip-hop world, for weeks. Mandeecees, the gregarious and slick businessman, was known for being a women's man. Kirk felt nervous, not only because of their shared past, but also because of the unquestionable tension between them that everyone had been experiencing. Jasmine, Mandeecees' fiery ex-girlfriend, had never been shy about her emotions for him. Trying to disregard the fact that nobody knew what was actually happening behind closed doors, Kirk was aware that he had heard the whispers and seen the indicators, and he intended to reveal everything to everyone tonight, including Yandy M's current spouse, who was unaware of what was taking place directly in front of her as usual. The evening began with the group sitting down to dinner and chit-chatting, but Kirk found it difficult to concentrate on the discussion since his thoughts kept racing. Paying back what he had discovered about Mandeecees and Jasmine, how they had been meeting in secret, and how their bond went beyond a passing fancy to something more profound and personal, Kirk had witnessed. At last, Kirk was unable to contain his guilt about maintaining this secret any longer. He put his plate away, reclined in his chair, and glanced around the table, his eyes meeting Yandy's in the room. Became silent as everyone realized that something was going to happen. Kirk added in a low, authoritative voice, "I can't sit here and let this go on any longer," as the tone changed from lighthearted discussion to nervous expectation. Like a hot knife through butter, words instantly sliced through the room. "What are you talking about, Kirk?" Yandy, who had been enjoying a glass of wine, glanced up at him with a mixture of bewilderment and interest. Yandy asked in a calm voice, yet there was a trace of nervousness in it. Kirk's provided G turned to face Mandeecees and Jasmine, who were seated across the table from each other. They had been whispering to each other, but now they both froze, realizing that something was going to happen. There was a lot of tension in the room, so I think it's time Yandy found out. Kirk started to lean forward a little, his eyes never leaving mine and Jasmine's as he explained what had been going on between them. Their entire covert relationship that they have been keeping from you. Immediately, Yandy's face became white. "What are you talking about, Kirk?" she screamed. Ascending, she turned to look into M's face for any indication that this was a joke.
So listen, right? Jasmine.
She knew, let me tell you what happened. She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, Yandy didn't even stay in her place because he sit at the, like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at the bar?
I didn't know it was her bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mandeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
All right, let's go enjoy the...
My household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
No, I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine too.
Mandeecees was expressionless, but there was a glimmer of anxiety in his eyes, and he shuffled uneasily in his chair, yet his silence said louder than words. However, Jasmine was quick to defend herself. Kirk, what the? Kirk wasn't afraid. He had already seen enough to know the truth you believe I'm making. What the hell are you talking about? That's not true. You're just starting drama for no reason. She leaned closer, her eyes sparkling with rage. This up, Kirk's tone sharpened. You act as though I'm unaware of what's been happening behind the scenes, but I've seen how you two have been moving, how you've been meeting up when no one is looking, and Yandy's eyes were wide. Her astonishment is slowly evolving into incredulity. She questioned, "Is this true?" Her voice shaking as the weight of her words hung in the air. She had already been through a lot, and this was the last thing she expected to hear.
So listen, right? Jasmine,
Let me tell you what happened. She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, Yandy didn't even stay in her place because he sit at the, like he was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
at the bar?
I didn't know it was her bar.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mandeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
All right, let's go enjoy the...
my household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
No, I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine too.
After what seemed like an eternity of stillness, Mandeecees finally spoke, but his words seemed to betray them. Yandy, I stopped stroking his hair. It's a tricky, confusing situation. Yandy spoke again, explaining that it couldn't be complicated. After everything, man. The tension in the room reached a boiling point, and for a brief moment it seemed like everything was about to fall apart, but Kirk wasn't finished yet. He had noticed the cracks in M's eyes as you were sneaking around with her after everything we've built. You think I didn't notice the late-night texts, the covert calls, the way you two have been skulking around, and the fact that you two have been playing around behind closed doors for months. It was all coming to light, and Jasmine's facade for months was coming to light, and he wasn't going to let anyone leave this unharmed. Kirk's voice was now filled with disgust, and Yandy was over here while you were playing games, believing everything was all right, but it wasn't. Yandy was shaking her head in shock, unable to fathom what was going on, and she asked in a barely audible whisper, "How long has this been going on, miss?" "It's not what you think." He finally looked her in the eyes, and the guilt was obvious. "Yandy," he answered in a tone that was almost contrite, but there were times when things shouldn't have happened. Jasmine, who had been an ENT for too long, gave me a frustrated expression. "Don't blame me, Mandeecees, you were. Don't pretend that you weren't the one pursuing me either. You were just as involved in this as I was." The room was now on the verge of anarchy. Yandy turned away from him, tears in her eyes, unable to even look at him anymore. Kirk's work was done. He had revealed the reality, ripped the illusion apart, and left Yandy standing in the group started arguing and shouting over one another, shattering what she believed to be her relationship. Kirk couldn't help but feel a little satisfied since sometimes the truth hurts. But it was the only thing that could make things right for the time being, even if it was obvious that no one in the group was. Room would be departing without incident that evening.
So listen, right? Jasmine.
Let me tell you what happened. She said when you talked to her, she said you rocking with the Frosties and da-da-da. So she was like, yeah, you didn't need to stay in her place because he sit at the bar. He was at my bar. Meaning, he said,
I didn't know it was her boss.
I didn't know anything about this until my husband called me over. I just feel like with Mandeecees, not wearing your ring opens up the door for so many assumptions and so many comments. Stop putting me in these positions. Buy a new ring. Or put the ring on that you already have.
I never met her, right? I never said one word to her, let alone two. If I said one word, it's the drink that I want.
All right, let's go enjoy the...
That my household in the shambles, so bro, trust me, I ain't...
Bro, you gotta get it right. Please get it right.
No, I'm on it. I ain't even...
This is hurting my heart.
It hurts mine too.